For years, the moments between Taehyung and Jungkook have been a constant source of attention due to the obvious closeness they demonstrate. One of the most recent examples occurred during a BTS group live, where all the members appeared relaxed, but it was especially the connection between the two. They were close, interacting naturally and comfortably, as if no time had passed since their last appearance together. What caught our attention was not only the way they behaved during that live, but the context in which it took place. On July 2, 2025, just one day after the live event, Taehyung updated his Instagram profile with several photos of his recent trip to Japan, a trip that took place on June 29. This detail was important because it confirmed that Taehyung had not attended Jin's concert that same day, something that Jungkook, Jimin, and Yoongi had done. The reasons were work-related, as Taehyung had to fulfill prior commitments as part of his schedule. During that concert, many noticed that Jungkook was very focused on his phone. Some fans speculated that he was keeping an eye on Taehyung's trip or even communicating with him. This type of behavior has been observed before, for example, on the Are You Sure show. When Taehyung was out of the audience due to scheduling issues, Jungkook was seen using his phone more frequently than usual. For many fans, this indicates that there is constant communication between them, even when they are not physically together. After Taehyung's return to Korea, the aforementioned group live took place, and once again, the closeness between him and Jungkook was evident. It doesn't seem forced or momentary, but rather a reflection of a relationship that has survived the passage of time and the distance caused by their individual activities. During that live, some visual details caught our attention. Both Taehyung and Jungkook wore earrings that seemed to belong to the same Celine brand, a brand for which Taehyung is an official ambassador. On the day of his return from Japan, Taehyung was spotted at the airport wearing that set of accessories, and later that same day, Jungkook appeared on livestream wearing one of the same earrings. These kinds of coincidences have been constant over time. From shared clothes to accessories, to simultaneous social media posts, the details have formed a narrative that, without the need for official statements, builds the perception of an intimate bond. For many, these gestures speak to a personal connection that goes beyond friendship or work. What's interesting about this whole situation isn't simply the rumor or the coincidence, but how over time, their behavior has reflected a relationship that is sustained in everyday life, in private messages, in matching accessories, in subtle details that, even if not publicly proclaimed, show a constant connection. Jungkook has often been the one most attentive to Taehyung's activities, and vice versa. The group live on July 1st was just another example of that connection, that bond that, far from weakening, seems stronger after their individual experiences. The gestures they share, though simple, hold special value for those who have followed their story from the beginning. It's these moments that fuel the narrative around Taekook, not because it's necessary to define what kind of relationship they have, but because the respect, closeness, and care they show for each other are visible even without words. In recent days, a social media post by Taehyung has once again attracted attention. In one of the shared images, he was seen posing with a plush toy from a brand known for its simple yet striking accessories. What sparked particular interest was that the plush toy Taehyung was carrying wasn't just any old model, it exactly matched the shape, size, and color of one Jungkook had previously worn during a casual dinner, which he attended with his security team. These kinds of coincidences don't usually go unnoticed in South Korea, where wearing matching accessories or sharing items from the same collection between two people has a specific meaning in popular culture. It's often interpreted as a sign of emotional bonding or romantic closeness. Even more so when the plush toy brand itself decided to post an image on its official account showing both items, referring to them as part of a set and directly using the name Taekook. The brand's post was interpreted by many as an indirect confirmation. The plush toys were intended to be used as a couple or shared between two people with a special connection. However, that post was deleted within hours. The brand reportedly received multiple complaints or negative comments that led to its removal. This wouldn't be the first time a company or restaurant has modified or removed content related to both artists, especially when public reaction becomes polarized. Despite this, the details didn't go unnoticed. The magnetic plush in question has a peculiarity: when placed near its complementary piece, it tends to magnetically bond. This reinforces the idea that it was chosen to be shared with someone important. Taehyung included it among the items he recently carried with him, along with a Celine plush and a scarf he has kept since 2017. The presence of these personal items can be interpreted as a symbolic way of keeping close those memories or people he considers essential in his life, in this case Jungkook. Another detail that fueled the comparisons was the use of phone cases from a specific brand. In one episode of the show Are You Sure?, Jungkook was seen using a silver Urban Sophistication case. Later, Taehyung appeared with a case from the same brand, but with a different leopard print design. This case, in its original version, includes a side illustration depicting a man and a woman, something that could have had a symbolic intention on the part of the designer. However, Taehyung chose to cover that image with a Nirvana sticker, a visual decision that drew attention due to the care with which it was made. For some observers, this gesture was not accidental. In Korean youth culture, sharing items from the same brand between two people, especially personal items such as cell phone cases or keychains, also often has a specific connotation related to intimacy and bonding. Over time, several similar situations have been reported in which both Taehyung and Jungkook use complementary or interchangeable products, which has reinforced the perception that their relationship goes beyond a simple friendship between bandmates. The relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook can't be summarized in a single moment or an isolated scene. Their bond is built through many small actions that, when viewed together, show a constant and hard-to-ignore closeness. At first glance, these behaviors seem like spontaneous ones, but over time, it becomes clear that there's a pattern. It's not just a coincidence. It's a way of being together that has solidified over the years. The most interesting thing is that they don't need words to make themselves understood. While others may seek attention through statements or grand gestures, they communicate with glances, gentle movements, and a closeness that never seems forced. It doesn't matter if they're at a public event or in the middle of a filming session. Their way of being together doesn't change. There's always a familiarity in their way of interacting that stands out effortlessly. The most attentive fans have noticed that whenever Taehyung and Jungkook are around each other, a kind of silent routine is activated. They look for each other, approach each other without fear, and their gestures reflect mutual trust. This behavior isn't random, it's repeated with a naturalness that suggests they're used to sharing their space in this way. It's not something prepared or a performance for the cameras. Rather, it's a habit that seems part of their everyday relationship. When they're together, their movements synchronize almost without them noticing. One can turn and the other is already there, responding. If one moves forward, the other soon follows. Sometimes, a gesture as simple as touching the other's arm, adjusting a piece of clothing, or simply standing very close, takes on another meaning because of the way they do it. These aren't empty gestures. They're repeated acts that are part of a shared language between them. What's most striking is that this type of interaction doesn't depend on the context. It can happen in front of other members of the group, in front of cameras, or even during live recordings. There seems to be no difference between the public and private spheres. In both cases, there's a sense of trust and comfort in being next to each other. This indicates that what they share isn't based on circumstances, but on a form of bond that has strengthened over time. Many videos show similar scenes: long gazes, gentle smiles, and a constant closeness that is rarely interrupted. There's a moment when one sits down and the other, without saying anything, settles in next to them. Or an instant when one laughs, and the other looks at them before smiling back. These kinds of gestures, however small, build a much larger picture, that of a solid, intimate, and natural relationship. Sometimes, even their silences seem shared. They don't need to speak to know how the other is feeling. It's as if they understand each other just by being together. This kind of connection, difficult to find and even harder to fake, has been constant over the years. And although they don't make open declarations about their bond, their actions have been enough for many to perceive how strong it is. It's also evident how they care for each other. Not only at large events, but also in simpler situations, such as adjusting a microphone, handing over an object, or making sure the other person is comfortable. Every little detail adds up. Every action conveys attention and closeness. No gesture seems casual, and that consistency is what makes their relationship feel more than just friendship.